My name is William.
My name is Kristen.
And this is Guide to the Unknown. Guide to the Unknown?
Yeah.
It's a brand new show where Kristen and I, bro and sis, sit down and shoot the ish all about stories, mythical monsters, creatures, villains, all from the world of horror and mythology.
Yep, so from scary things.
Yes. Yeah. So you may be familiar with our previous show, Book Club, Schmook Club, which we did for a few years, reading books all the time. We realized that almost every book that we were looking forward to, wanted to do, was deeply rooted in horror and mystery.
Yes.
And so we put on our thinking caps. We got to plotting out a brand new space where we could talk about really nothing but
exclusively those things that we were excited about anyway in Book Club Schmook Club.
Exactly. So this show is brand new. It's a weekly show. Make sure you subscribe to it.
Yep.
Make sure you tell us your thoughts about it because we're flexible. We plan to grow and change.
Yeah.
But first things first, let's jaw about some mythical creatures.
All right, let's mix it up.
So Kristen and I each brought a mythical creature to the table that we will share the story of with each other. And how do you want to play this? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Does it matter?
Why don't you go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Mine is very general.
Okay.
Not general. Mine is a very shaky concept of a creature.
Okay.
I went with, to start things off,
yes,
the Boogeyman.
Ooh, I love the Boogeyman.
Do you know anything about the Boogeyman?
No.
Like a single thing? Do you know anything about the Boogeyman?
He's scary.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all you got, right?
Mostly kids are scared of him.
Sure.
Yeah.
But in what sense? Like, they'd just be like, oh, the Boogeyman is coming. But it's not like that conjures up an image, a shape, or anything, right?
Not really. Does he steal kids or something?
Where do you think you got that knowledge from?
I don't know.
That's interesting that you would say that, because I don't think I ever could have said that.
Yeah.
And yet, the Boogeyman in general appears to be a character that targets children for committing mischief.
For committing mischief.
For committing the act of mischief.
Do they have examples of what what
I do. This is a direct quote.
What connotates mischief?
And I love, alright, this is a very laid back show in case you guys didn't already realize.
We're just gonna talk to each other. We're gonna tell each other a story.
Yes. Yeah. We're just gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
My primary source is Wikipedia.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right, good.
No, mine is Wikipedia, and then not to tip my hand, an Irish wedding ring website's blog.
Oh, that's weird.
It is, isn't it?
That is weird.
I bet you wonder what my thing is.
I have some interesting... I do wonder what your thing is. I have some interesting sources as well.
Okay.
It's not all Wikipedia in here. So they say an example of what the Boogeyman might get you for. A Boogeyman might punish children who suck their thumbs.
What?
That's a Boogeyman offense. That might get you boogied away for like the rest of your life.
Into that
From what I can tell, that might get you taken away for the rest of your life. Or eaten.
So...
It might eat you.
I mean, is it over a certain age? Like when you should have been weaned off of your thumb or your binky?
It depends on where you look, because for sure they do not make a distinction.
I was like joking.
No. Well, but I'm also joking because they don't make a distinction of what the age range is for the Boogeyman, but I did find out that there's a movie called Boogeyman in which he primarily terrorizes adults.
Oh.
So it seemed like they didn't know their boogie lore.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like
either.
It. Not impressed.
So the actual background, the actual origin of the Boogeyman is pretty much no one knows.
Okay.
But, and I really enjoy this, there are multiple instances of folklore around the world in different countries that very closely match each other.
Ooh, okay.
Which might lend a conspiracy-minded person to think, well, why did we all land on the idea of this demon thing that exists primarily in shadow, stealing our bad children? Because that does seem to be the case.
Because he's real. Everybody's just reporting on
exactly, and he just goes by different names. So, for example, There is the Sack Man of Brazil, Portugal, and Spain.
Okay.
He is portrayed as a man with a sack on his back who carries naughty children away.
Scary.
He is literally known as Hombre del Saco.
That's awesome.
The Sack Man. Also, he's known as El Roba Chicos, which means child stealer.
It sounds so nice, though.
I know.
Like, not having the context of hearing those words all the time.
Yes.
And being
El Roba Chicos.
That sounds nice
is coming over.
Yeah.
There is also Babao from Mediterranean countries, who is a tall man with a heavy black coat with a black hood, or who hides his face.
Okay.
In Italy and Romania, he's also called L'uomo nero, black man.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I think that they literally mean like
right. Like
a shadow.
The color black.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Parents, and I can only say I think because I know that there are like weird racist like Christmas traditions around the world.
I think that we're going to find that a lot of like legendary creatures and lore things have like roots in some sort of bigotry.
Like horrific human disease.
Yeah, I think so.
Societal diseases.
Yes.
Parents in Romania might knock loudly under a table, pretending that someone is knocking upon the door.
That's awesome.
And say...
get their kids to behave?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And say, here comes L'uomo Nero. He must know there's a child here who doesn't want to drink his soup. As an example. I didn't write that.
That's awesome.
L'uomo Nero isn't supposed to eat or harm children, just take them away to a mysterious and frightening place. Which is also a literal...
Did they describe the mysterious and frightening place by any chance?
No, because most of this, I think, the idea of the boogeyman is supposed to just exist in your head as whatever you want him to be.
Yes.
So therefore, nothing will ever be scarier than what you imagine the scariest thing to be in the world.
Like a boggart.
Yes. So if I actually have the boggart as an example of something that may have some origin in boogeyman. Boogeyman, boggart.
Yeah.
Who is to say this, that, or the other.
Right, of course.
And yet here we are.
It's funny, I have a boggart reference with mine, too.
Do you really?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Interessante.
Isn't it?
It is. There's probably going to be a lot of Harry Potter talk on this show.
I really love Harry Potter.
Kind of how we communicate.
Yeah.
So, a popular lullaby says that L'uomo Nero would take children and keep them with him for a whole year.
Mm-hmm. That's a popular lullaby?
Yeah, I actually have some
real... Do you have the rest of the lullaby?
I have other lullabies.
Do they have to do with L'uomo Nero?
I mean, they're all basically the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Like, this is almost like if I assumed a new name.
Yeah.
And went to a different country, and I was known as, like, Dr. Zanzibar. And then you would come to find out that Dr. Zanzibar is Will Rogers.
Yeah.
You'd just be like, well, what did Dr. Zanzibar do, knowing that it was Will Rogers doing it? I imagine that this is always the boogeyman, right?
Okay.
It's just what people call him around the world.
Well, yeah.
So when I say that, like, there may be a poem that's not specifically about the boogeyman, it's about L'uomo Nero, it is about the boogeyman, because these are all the boogeyman.
Yes. Gotcha.
There is the Boogeyman of Denmark. Wikipedia says, and this is interesting, as in the English equivalent, the bogeyman.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Boogeyman is also a slang term for mucus.
Weird.
Now, I had a big question mark.
Sounds so classy.
Going into the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Because the Wikipedia page for the boogeyman isn't B-O-O-G, it's B-O-G.
Bogeyman?
Bogeyman.
Huh.
Now, bogies in England is slang for boogers.
Right.
And I know that because of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
When
troll bogies.
He gets troll bogies on his wand and the Sorcerer's Stone. Sorry, the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh my god.
Knee Philosopher's Stone.
Nay,
Philosopher's Stone. And so I was wondering, like, well, what's up with that? Like, is the bogeyman supposed to be a booger man? That doesn't make sense. And I didn't really find, I think it's just supposed to be that it's something repellent. It's something repugnant and gross. Because I never got a clear-cut answer to that.
I never really, it's dumb, but I've never really thought much about the fact that the boogeyman, like, could have to do with boogers. They just seem unrelated.
Yeah, and I mean, boogeyman, you don't really think, like, boogies.
I don't think of ooey gooey sticky man. I think of the dark shadow man.
Right. Yeah. And that's and even in most of these like interpretations of him around the globe, he is just like made of shadows or encased in shadows or wearing all black. It's not like he's like a dripping, gross goo man.
Right.
But Bogeyman is the name, and apparently Boogeyman in Denmark.
Boogeyman sounds nice.
He is known as the small man in the Bahamas.
Not as intimidating.
Unless, wait until you listen to this.
Because he's small, he can get into all sorts of places. I bet he is a scamp.
You could never guess what this means.
Okay, go ahead.
I could never have written this.
Okay.
He rides in a cart drawn by itself and picks up any child seen outside after sundown.
Oh my god.
So if that's not horrifying enough, anyone taken by the small man becomes a small person and has to ride on the back of his cart with him forever.
Oh my god.
So he turns you into a little person and rides away with you.
Well, quick question though.
How bizarre is that?
But if he's doing that all the time, then he should have like a trail of small men with him at all times. That's not mentioned.
Unless he's making them like so small that they fit in that cart,
that
right?
They're like a pea?
Yeah, like the size of a pea.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you said as small as him, right?
Become a small person. I mean, all it says is you become a small person. Okay. So I have no idea.
I thought, in my mind, I pictured it being like equivalent size. Like he's like making you like him too.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I guess he could have like a fanny pack on full of children that he stole.
I was thinking about the movie Phantasm. The victims of the Phantasm, he turns into little people.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking.
I can't picture it. I've seen that before, but I don't remember that part.
It's weird.
So weird.
He's known as the Old Hag in Newfoundland. He suffocates naughty kids by sitting on their stomachs while they sleep.
Oh my god.
Possibly inspired by real-life experiences with sleep paralysis.
Yes, that makes total sense.
That interesting?
Yeah. Sleep paralysis is horrifying.
In Haiti, the boogeyman is known as Metminui. He is a tall man with legs 2 stories high. And he walks around towns at midnight to catch and eat people that stay outside.
That's the kind of thing that would really freak me out when I was a kid.
That is what I was thinking immediately. Of all of these, this was the one that I put myself in that position where I'm seeing something that is impossible.
That's the freakiest one, too. Because you could, like, let's say you're running from it or something.
Yeah.
And then you think that you're taking a rest, like, by a building, and it's, like, one of its legs.
Oh. I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking, like, no matter where you go, you pretty much can't get away from this thing. Like, it's gigantic. You might see it walk past a window and only be able to see but a sliver of it.
That's like the opposite end equivalent, like the other side of the same coin of my recurring nightmare as a child, which was that Rumpelstiltskin was outside my window. And no matter which window I ran to in the house, he was out there laughing like, ha 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 ha, and throwing pebbles at the window.
Yeah. Very similar dream. I had frequent nightmares of pretty much like an old gangster. You know, like old gangsters that like would have a big cigar and just like grumpy faced, severed head.
Ooh.
And that head with it like staring is floating around our house. And it's looking for us. If it sees us in a room, drop dead. Almost as if like Medusa shot like light out of her eyes and killed you on the spot. Like getting Avada Kedavra in that room immediately. And so we would be like running into the next room and just see it start to float by and have to duck like under the windowsill. And just being like, I hope it's gone now. I don't know if it's gone.
I'm listening and making this face and everything and feeling like, oh god, it's so scary. But then I come back and I remember that it's a gangster with a cigar.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. So is that funny? To me, it was horrific.
It's scary, but it's
almost
weird.
As if he was the victim of something.
That's what
and then became a monster.
The cigar is a weird detail that's funny.
It is very funny. It is very weird. I don't really understand what that's about. It might have something to do with the movie Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag.
Oh,
you ever see that movie?
No.
I think I saw it as a young man, and I
feel like it used to be on Comedy Central.
I think it screwed me up.
So I wouldn't be that surprised to hear that. Like, I think that was one of those things that I'd be trying to watch Comedy Central to watch, like, I don't know what.
Just be like, oh.
And then I'd be like, oh, God, it has a duffel bag is on.
I think that's true. Like, I think they played it on basically a loop. Yeah. I think one of the heads was an old-timey thing. I don't know how young I was. Maybe.
That'll do it.
All right. This is the one that is like, there's one thing about this interpretation that is like mind-blowing.
Okay.
Now, in many Spanish-speaking countries, the boogeyman is known as Coco.
Okay.
Or Coca.
Okay.
Male, female. Mm-hmm. Many of these boogeymen are said to be androgynous. They may have no gender. There may be a man and a woman. No one really knows.
Okay.
And yet, It is derived from the Portuguese coco.
Okay.
Which referred to a ghost with a pumpkin head.
That's cool. I'm surprised that there's such a short word. Or it's just a name of a ghost with a pumpkin head. Okay.
Yeah. But how weird is it?
That makes much more sense than that being
that you could, like all their words are like short.
And the explanation is insanely long and specific.
Yeah, there's a coco over there. Oh, ghost with a pumpkin head?
Yeah, wow. You guys were really efficient.
Good thing you said coco instead of ghost with a pumpkin head. We had much more time to run away. Yeah. But that made me think immediately of like the Headless Horseman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And apparently, in Portuguese, any skull-like carving from a vegetable is called coco. So a jack-o'-lantern is a coco.
Weird.
How weird is that? But, hold on. Hold the freaking phone. Because I learned this.
I guess in America, could you say that a jack-o'-lantern is any sort of carved vegetable? I mean, it's most frequently pumpkins, but I guess if you had like a zucchini that you did that, so you'd be like, it's jack-o'-lantern. So I guess that's the equivalent.
I made a watermelon into a jack-o'-lantern like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And yet I recently saw people doing it and going like viral because of how funny it was that they did a watermelon jack-o'-lantern. I did that.
I know. I remember. I helped you take pictures of it.
Years ago. Anyway. Coco.
Yeah.
The Spanish country version of the Boogeyman.
Okay.
Is the reason coconuts are called coconuts.
Really?
The etymology of the word coconut is because it was hairy and those like knobby things on the bottom kind of looked like a face. So it kind of looked like the demon.
Weird.
It kind of looked like Coco, the Boogeyman. And that's why coconuts are called that.
Cool.
Coconuts are directly associated with the Boogeyman.
That's awesome.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, that's really weird.
That to me was like a mind-blowing revelation.
No wonder I like coconuts.
Yeah.
It's no wonder.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I'm about to tell you some lullabies.
Okay. All right.
But first,
Sing me to sleep, bitch.
What you need to know to understand these lullabies is that in many of these cultures, they believe that Coco is on the tippy top peak of the roof of your house.
Oh my god.
And that it is just waiting for you to screw up. This thing is just like waiting and watching for you to mess something up, and then it can pounce.
It's like the reverse Santa Claus.
Reverse guardian angel.
Yeah.
It's referred to as. It is always watching.
That's scary.
Yeah. And there are differing accounts.
That can really mess you up as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen to these lullabies. These are insane.
But, like, they're called, they're saying they're lullabies. Like, were parents really singing these to children before they went to sleep?
I would have to assume that at least it was said once and that's enough. Because some of them are it's
how would you even categorize?
It's not that they're explicitly terrifying, but what they mean is just very alarming to say to a kid.
Okay.
But so yeah, there are differing accounts about whether Coco's on the peak of your roof. That seems to be the most common. Maybe he's under your bed. Maybe he's in the closet.
Yeah.
All right. So parents invoke the Coco as a way of discouraging children from misbehaving.
Oh, parents, you're wrong.
They literally sing lullabies and tell rhymes like this. Now, this is the oldest known lullaby about the Coco.
Okay.
It originated in the 17th century.
Okay.
It is called the Auto de los Desposorios de la Virgen.
Okay.
By Juan Coxix.
Okay.
Sleep, child, sleep now. Here comes the Coco, and he will eat you.
Oh my god. That doesn't seem good.
What do you think of that? How horrifying is that? That's the most like direct.
Will eat you?
There's like no fluff.
No, none.
There's nothing on that. Just here comes the Coco,
also, I think
and he will eat you.
You call somebody child, it's always ominous. Like
sleep, child.
Come, child.
Sleep now.
That's not good.
Here comes the Coco.
Who calls you?
And he will eat you.
That is so scary.
Here's a Portuguese lullaby. Now, this I think is the what is it called if you're banishing something?
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes instead of being about the Coco, though, this Portuguese lullaby might be about Papau Negro.
Okay.
Black Eater.
Okay. Wow.
Leave Coco. Leave Coco. Go to the top of the roof. Let the child have a quiet sleep.
Oh my god, you would say this in front of your child?
You'd say around your child, I guess. Your kid's lying in bed and you're making a big show.
Oh my god.
And then just being like, hope it worked. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Sleep tight. There's no way for me to tell if the Coco listened.
That's awesome.
Good luck. In Brazil, Cuca is a female humanoid alligator.
Okay.
And here's the poem. The lullaby. Sleep, baby, or the kuka will catch you. Daddy is in the plantation. Mommy went out.
Oh my God.
You're all alone now.
Yeah, so you're telling your kid that
there's no one around.
And you're going to get the Coco's coming?
Sleep, baby, or the kuka will catch you. Daddy is in the plantation. Mommy went out.
Oh my God.
They're not around. They won't be able to help you.
No.
You're all alone now.
Yeah, but
granted, someone's saying this to you.
Yeah, but she's about to bounce.
Yeah, I'm going out.
Daddy's in the plantation. She's going out.
Hope you don't get eaten by the kuka.
My God.
I'm going out. Your dad's in the plantation, by the way.
Man, people give parents a hard time for using the wrong car seat nowadays. Or Britney Spears driving with her baby on her lap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like where was all this like social judgment back when people were telling their babies that the kuka might eat them?
Exactly. That's what I want to know.
All right, the final piece of lore I have, and then I have some brief pop culture stuff about the Boogeyman, is from Mexico.
Okay.
El Cucuy, I don't know how to pronounce these things, any of them, by the way, is an evil monster that hides under children's beds at night and kidnaps or eats children who don't obey their parents or go to bed when they're told to.
It is a pretty useful tool.
Not
if you're like messed up.
Well, that is the other like way to analyze all of this. Yeah. Either we are all experiencing the same phenomenon of the Boogeyman, or we're all just like, we all need a big bad excuse to get these kids to listen.
Guys, I'm so tired.
Timothy, would you just go to bed, Timothy?
No. I'm at a meeting of parents deciding to invent the kuka.
You may be wondering why I've asked you all to come here tonight.
I'm so tired, and I know we said that we weren't going to do it. I know that Jason brought it up at the last meeting.
At the next meeting. And I know we all see in the fourth dimension.
And we all said that we weren't going to do it, but I think we got to invoke the kuka to our kids. I got to get some sleep.
We got to start inventing some kukas and alligator people and Bogeyman.
What have you?
Maybe, like they say that there's the biblical story of the Tower of Babel. Everyone spoke the same language, tried to build a tower to God, so he cursed them all and made them all speak different tongues. And then they all spread all over the globe because they couldn't understand each other anymore. Maybe at that central point when they were building that tower, they were like, building this tower. Yeah. These kids are bugging us.
What can we do to just kind of make them docile?
Yeah. So they all came up with the same plan. Yeah. God cursed them. They spread all over the globe. Yeah. And so now you're getting all of these like a central point of origin. Yeah. And then they all took the story with them wherever they went.
That works for me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in the Cucuy in Mexico is not hairy, like a coconut. Okay. Actually a small humanoid figure with glowing red eyes that hides in closets or under the bed. Some lore has him as a kid who was the victim of violence, and now he's alive. But he's not. That's a quote from somebody about the origin of the... Now he's alive. But he's not. But he's not.
Because he's dead.
He's the victim of a previous Cucuy.
Yikes.
All right. And then in pop culture, I already think that maybe the Boogeyman in some form inspired the boggart, although the boggart itself is a legendary creature that has many interpretations, not just a Harry Potter thing. Big stuff in pop culture. Yeah. First of all, Halloween. Big time. In that movie, there are kids that are, first of all, it's Halloween with jack-o'-lanterns, which is making me think about the Coco, because we know that any gourd turned into a lantern with a face on it is a Coco. Yeah. So I'm thinking that some of the origin of Halloween is in the Boogeyman. The holiday Halloween has some of its origin in the Boogeyman through the jack-o'-lantern. Oh, maybe. But the movie Halloween, kids are going like, the Boogeyman's coming. He's going to get you. 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 And at the very end of the movie, Jamie Lee Curtis goes, "It was the Boogeyman." I know. And he goes, "As a matter of fact, it was." Peculiar, because he knew exactly who he was.
He's a doctor.
He was the doctor, and he knew him.
Well, yeah, he knew him, but also, why don't you be a little bit more professional with this hysterical person who just got chased?
Why feed into her, psychosis?
Exactly. You're a doctor, man.
He's not a very good doctor, to be fair.
No, he's really not. He keeps losing his patients.
He does. Call him Losing Loomis. Anyway, that makes me think that because Michael Myers is a figure that, especially in the first movie, he's going around and stalking babysitters who themselves are kids. And typically, the typical slasher format is if you're smoking drugs, if you're engaging in fornication, bad. Yeah. Those are bad things. A lot of slasher movies are sort of like weird morality plays. Yeah. And the idea of Michael Myers perhaps being a Boogeyman stand-in, punishing these evildoer kids is in keeping with the Boogeyman legend.
Yes.
It follows.
There are other... Well, there definitely are. There are other legends that have that kind of format where it's like, you do something bad, you get punished by this thing.
Yes, absolutely.
It is interesting to think about how that plays out in common horror movie tropes.
Yeah. It follows.
Yep.
Some of the Boogeyman legends, if you go to the Wikipedia page, I read you the ones that I thought were cool from different countries. It is the longest list ever.
I'm sure.
There are 1 million Boogeyman legends around the world.
Yeah.
But one of them is that he's a shapeshifter, and you never really know what he is.
Yeah.
Movie It Follows.
Yeah.
Very similar themes to Halloween.
Yeah.
The Babadook.
Yeah. I still haven't seen it.
I don't really like it.
Really?
I didn't like it very much. But wearing all black, long fingers, that movie is about a troubled child in particular. Very distinctly Boogeyman vibes coming out of that.
I know that I Googled it at some point, so I do know, but maybe you can jog my memory. Why did the Babadook become a gay icon?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't remember.
Ah, shit. All right, keep talking.
All right, I guess look it up.
Yeah.
Oogie Boogeyman. From Nightmare on Elm Street. No. From Nightmare Before Christmas. Obviously a Boogeyman kind of thing. Oogie Boogeyman. There was a trilogy of movies.
Called The Boogeyman?
Called Boogeyman.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
You're aware of that?
Yeah.
I did not know about that. I was shocked.
Seen them, but...
Came out starting in 2005. Produced by Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert, who did Evil Dead.
Weird.
Written by Eric Kripke, who created the show Supernatural.
Yeah.
There was an episode of Supernatural, which is very meta. They're on a film set. And somebody's like, oh, you were in that movie, The Boogeyman. She goes, yeah, that was a fun movie. Terrible script, though. So it's Eric Kripke poking fun at himself for writing a bad movie. It stars Emily Deschanel.
Okay. Of Bones. I think she's Dr. Bones.
I think she's Dr. Bones. Yeah. The Boogeyman seems to primarily kill adults.
Okay.
It starts with the character Tim Jensen.
Real departure.
Tim Jensen sees his father murdered by the Boogeyman. The Boogeyman lives in the closet. He lives in all closets.
Okay.
So when Tim Jensen grows up, according to the Wikipedia page for the movie Boogeyman, I read the plot of all 3 Boogeyman movies.
Yeah.
He grows up and he has his own house, and he removes all the closets from his house.
What?
That's what it says on Wikipedia.
I don't think that works.
And I refuse to find out what it means.
What do you mean? Not asking what you mean. Like,
maybe
you can't remove, like you could fill them in or something.
At best, it might mean remove the closet door.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess you could.
Can't remove a closet.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it.
I mean, I guess.
Doesn't make a lick of sense.
Maybe he just has racks of clothing.
Maybe.
Like a fashion house.
Well, all I know is that in addition, Tim Jensen is friends with somebody named Franny.
Okay.
A person named Franny in that movie. And that's all I know about the first one. But in the second one, it's about patients who suffer from bogey phobia. Oh. Which is...
bogey?
This might,
it's not boogie phobia?
No, it's bogey. This might shock you.
But the movie's called The Boogeyman,
This might shock you. It's the fear of the Boogeyman.
Again, the movie is called The Boogeyman too, right?
Yeah.
But they suffer from bogey phobia?
Maybe they pronounce it as boogie phobia, but in the thing, which sounds even better, boogie phobia. Totally but for sure, it says bogey phobia.
I much prefer boogie phobia.
And the special effects. It's free on YouTube. All the Boogeyman movies are free on YouTube. I scrolled through to see what the Boogeyman looks like. Looks amazing. You won't believe it. Look it up and watch all 3 movies and tell me about it.
Please.
And the last things I have for you, that song Boogeyman by Casey and the Sunshine Band is not about the Boogeyman.
Wait, how does Boogeyman go?
I'm a boogeyman, I'm a boogeyman.
Yeah, no,
turn me on.
That's just a man who boogies.
Do what you want. Yes. Yeah. According to Song Facts, it's about a man who likes to boogie, not the scary one.
All right, that makes sense.
That's what it says.
That makes sense.
Not the scary one.
The scary one.
But White Zombie did do a cover of Boogeyman, which is about the Boogeyman.
But wait, it's a cover, so they're singing the same words?
Yeah, but he also samples Halloween's Boogeyman is gonna get you, he's gonna get you, he's gonna get you, he's gonna get you. They sample that in the music, which I think transforms it into being about the Boogeyman.
I don't need that.
They won a Grammy for Best Metal Performance.
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't know was a thing.
Did you listen to it?
For Boogeyman. Yeah, and I watched the music video too.
Oh my god.
It's really cool.
How many cars were in it? Like hot rods?
No, it was more that it was shot like an old-timey, like there's a guy who's like, I'm Dr. Spooky. Who's on the show today? And Vampirella is there. And then
I understand having an aesthetic and everything, but I guess it's just that I don't care for his. I'm sure there are people who they have their aesthetic and I'm all
It's in black and white, and then it cuts to like this disgusting high contrast full color of Rob Zombie with white eyes going, I'm your Boogeyman, I'm your Boogeyman. Well, he doesn't sound like that. He's not elderly. But he has this weird warble over his voice, which I think is supposed to make it even scarier.
Yeah, evil.
And it stinks. It stinks.
Ugh.
But also, as a palate cleanser, Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, also has a song called Boogeyman. Not a cover of the Casey and the Sunshine Band song.
That.
It's the last time I can do it. Yeah. But it seems to be about the horrors of racism. So, yeah.
Good. I'm sure it's a good song.
Scary in a different fashion.
Yes.
But yes, that is my understanding of the Boogeyman.
I learned some really cool boogie facts through that. Thank you.
I thought there were some pretty cool boogie facts in there. The Boogeyman himself is not a thing, but the fact that there are really direct one-to-one. The Boogeyman just exists everywhere. It just goes by many different names. Yeah. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It does seem like a pretty universal thing.
Which makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Like multiple cultures all probably invented the spoon because it's just really convenient to have that.
Right.
It's probably really convenient to be able to tell your kids stop sucking your thumb.
Yeah, because the Boogeyman's going to come steal you.
La Coca is going to get you.
And take you somewhere. He's not going to kill you, but he's going to take you somewhere evil and scary.
Yeah, for a year.
Yeah.
Depending on the culture.
For 1 year.
For 1 year. You can come back on your next birthday.
And then you'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he won't be the same.
No. Oh, never.
No.
After seeing those horrors?
There's also a description of one of them that says, he's not supposed to eat people. He takes them away. And I read that as being he's really not supposed to.
Right.
But sometimes he indulges.
Sometimes you slip.
But I think it's really supposed to be most of them say he eats people. And they're he's not supposed to eat people, this version.
Right.
At all.
Yes.
But I definitely read it as he might.
Yeah, he's not supposed to, but sometimes he has a cheat day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, what's your legendary mythical creature?
Mine is the legend of the Banshee.
Oh!
So that's not just one creature, it's a category of creatures.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think that's how it's going to be for most of these. I think that many of these do not have one single point of origin.
Yes. Yeah. So Banshees are Irish in origin. Irish and Scottish.
Interesting.
And Welsh sometimes. Seems to be mostly Irish. It seems like it trickled into Scotland and Wales a little bit.
Okay.
And so Banshees themselves they don't kill people or anything like that. They're more a harbinger of death. There are some twists on it, in some other iterations, but basically it's that they are screaming and wailing to warn you of an impending death of somebody in your family.
What? Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Or screaming and wailing because you're about to go into a situation where you could die.
That is couldn't they come up with a more peaceful, pleasant way to warn someone?
Well, they do say that there are kind of different categories of Banshees.
Okay.
So some Banshees, so I'm getting ahead of myself. So it's said that Banshees were only really available or served, which I think is kind of fine. The most pure Irish families. So families that start with O or Mac.
Wow.
You have a family Banshee. There's a Banshee that's it's assigned to you. It's your personal...
The old abandoned Banshee.
Yeah. Your personal death valet. So,
Matilda didn't even tell me that this was going to happen.
Yeah. Who? Oh, my Banshee.
My Banshee.
Yeah.
Huh.
So...
you have a Banshee?
Yeah.
My name doesn't start with O or Mac.
There's one exception.
Oh.
The Geraldines.
Why are they so special?
It was said that they're more Irish than Irish.
What does that mean?
And then there was a separate Wikipedia page what that meant, and when I started to read it, I started getting bored, but it had something to do with, migrating from somewhere else and your lineage mushes with somebody else's and boom, there's your Geraldines.
Wow.
More Irish than Irish. So,
is there a White Zombie song called More Human Than Human?
Yeah. Oh my god, why are we talking about White Zombie so much?
Because it's horror. We can't talk horror without talking about Rob Zombie. The scariest boy in Tinseltown. How good a way would that be for him to market himself? Like, you should let me make your next Pet Cemetery. The spookiest boy in Tinseltown.
That, you know what? So, was it you? I can't remember who posted it or something, but somebody said something about the fact that The Shining hasn't been remade.
That's me.
It was you. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, it hasn't. I was like, I'm surprised it hasn't been remade. Like, what if Rob Zombie remade The Shining?
They're not going to give it to him, though. They would give it to somebody, really hopefully with more, like, prestige.
Theoretically. It would be, like, some, like, really, like, shitty broken down hotel. It wouldn't be, like, a beautiful, like...
Yeah.
The Overlook would be, like, disgusting and...
Be gross and decrepit.
Yeah.
And Sherry Moon Zombie would play Wendy. Be unbearable.
Awful.
Even worse, can you imagine the child actor that Rob Zombie might find to play Danny? I bet he'd be the most obnoxious thing on the planet. He'd be more annoying than a regular child actor for sure. Whatever Rob Zombie's taste 100%. Is in kids. He'd either be a kid that's like this all the time because he's tortured because he sees a ghost friend.
Yeah.
Or he'd be like so overly innocent, it'd be sickening.
God. So, the origin of the idea of the Banshee seems to come from the fact that in Ireland, keening over a dead body is a real thing. And keening is kind of like, from what I could gather, somewhere between just like horribly wailing, but maybe to some sort of rhythm.
What? Really?
Yeah, like it's like there were professional keeners who you would hire to come to your funeral or maybe whatever the equivalent of a funeral was way back when. Because it was like a thing. Like,
that is bizarre.
It's very weird.
That's like a weird bloodletting kind of concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you just hire people to come wail.
Yeah.
Basically at your funeral. And they're women. And a lot of the women who were professional keeners were paid in alcohol. And so it's a classic punish a woman for being impure kind of thing.
Right.
So then that got interpreted over time into these screaming banshees.
Wow. That is crazy.
Because it's like those women who were keeners who were paid in alcohol were like unscrupulous and then they were like banished and became banshees.
Oh, does banished have something to do with the word banshee?
No, I just realized as I said that out loud that it sounds like it, but no. Okay. What did I write down? That's not the word... doomed. They were doomed to become banshees. Yeah.
Wow.
So not even banshee. I guess it was like when they die, they become a banshee, kind of.
That's crazy.
I know. So
I feel like at a certain point, though, like this is the kind of thing where it's like if ghosts were a fact of life.
Yeah.
I guess maybe this was the case. If you had a family ghost, like let's pretend that the Rogers family was the O. Rogers family. Yeah. We have our own banshee.
Yeah.
And you'd literally like I'd be standing. Like getting ready in the morning, putting on my tie, and then a ghost would start screeching in my face. And I'm just trying to be like,
oh my god, where's Kristen?
Everyone just be careful today, because I just got the forecast and something bad is going to happen.
Yes, basically they're like a death weatherman. But it's also funny you say that they'd be streaming your face, so you can't really see a banshee for like more than a second, basically.
Oh, that's frightening.
Yeah, like if you look at them, they're gonna disappear in a puff of smoke, not really, in mist.
Yeah.
And it's the sound of tons of birds flapping.
That's cool.
I know.
That's really cool.
Totally cool. But so from the glimpse that you get, the descriptions of banshees differ wildly.
Okay.
So, in the Scottish tradition, they say they look like a washerwoman. Which I think is funny.
It's really like trying to remove the dignity from these women.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, a washerwoman. But it actually has kind of a cool origin because the reason they say that the banshee is a washerwoman is that it's said that the banshee, like there's an image of, it comes from the lore that she cleans the bloody clothes of people who die.
Oh.
So it's literally a washerwoman situation, which is cool.
Okay.
Sometimes banshees are like young and beautiful. A really common thing is for them to have like flowing red hair.
It's funny that that's like the direct opposite.
Yeah, and there's another opposite. Like, yeah, so it's either washerwoman.
Yeah.
Gorgeous woman. Ugly old kind of crone figure.
They just really want to be like, any woman can just become this wailing hell beast.
Yeah. So, there are... Oh, I just pulled up my phone to read some descriptions of Banshees. I'm just coming back to this in case it was bugging you guys. I quickly scanned while William was talking earlier about the Babadook being gay. There's just a theory that the Babadook is gay, and it really gains traction online.
That's it?
Commenting.
That's the whole reason?
Yeah, I don't know the story of the Babadook because I didn't see that movie, but it's like, they're like, well, I guess I just glanced at it. They think that could be some sort of motivation for the Babadook? I don't know.
I don't know about that. All right.
I don't know. So
I forgot what happens to the Babadook because I didn't like it, but I don't know that holds true. Okay. Whatever.
So here are some of the forms that Banshees appear as commonly. A beautiful woman wearing a shroud, a pale woman in a white dress with long red hair, a woman with a long silver dress and silver hair, an old woman with frightening red eyes, a green dress and long white hair, an old woman with a veil covering her face, dressed in all black with long gray hair, which is sweet. And then here's my favorite one, which is a real wild card. A headless woman carrying a bowl of blood that is naked from the waist up. Oh.
This is really specific. Why does she have the bowl of blood?
I
honestly, I guess the naked from the waist up thing would seem more problematic to me if it didn't feel more complicated to have a bowl of blood.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I wonder if it's like scary and how confusing and disorienting it is, and that's why it comes in. It's just like, wait, what? Why? Why are these like disparate random elements together? What does this mean? Is something happening?
Right. I guess one of my favorite things about horror is when you just have no ability to comprehend what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So like maybe it is supposed to be like that. Like the randomized elements are just like
why? What is this? And also like, why is she naked? What does this mean? Why is she only a bowl of blood? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, they don't seem like they go together in any way.
No, it's just a bunch of stuff.
It makes it freakier.
Just stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff. Yeah.
Completely. So those are some ideas of what they look like. But let me see. What should I say next? Okay. Oh, so how they know is really sweet. Like that somebody might be dying or whatever. Either that, somebody is on their way to death and they're warning their family, or that you might be on your way to certain death.
Yeah.
Is that it's said that each family member for like that, a banshee kind of takes care of a family or whatever. Each family member has their own personal observer who follows them around and then reports back to the banshee if stuff is going south. So it's like the banshee has like, I don't know if this is right.
That's so weird too, to be like, yes, it is a ghoul. It is a ghost.
Yeah.
It knows things ahead of time, but it's not that powerful. It needs someone to tell them.
Yeah.
Like it's so arbitrary to just be like, here's a weird fake weakness of the.
I guess if back in the day when this was like, because I guess like folklore starts as maybe fact/rumor kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess if back in the day when maybe people believed these kinds of things more readily because we didn't know as much about the world and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If maybe that got invented because it's like, well, what if there's one banshee for a whole family? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
And then it evolves into being like, well, they have servants who
tell them, yeah.
What's going on or whatever.
So that's weird. It's just what a weird fact. Because like, then who are they? Like, I feel like that is deserving of an answer. Is like, who are these observers who are walking around? That feels very much like a guardian angel.
100%. That's basically what it is. Yeah. But it was just like an aside. But I think for all intents and purposes, it's a guardian angel.
Wow.
Or not even a guardian angel, but just like because they're not going to save you.
No, they're just a watcher.
Nor is the banshee really.
No.
Just kind of warning
the banshee, it's funny. The banshee is almost like when you're driving and you just hear a car horn go off and you're like, oh, something is going on and I don't know what.
Yeah.
Like that always bugged me about driving is like a car horn, corn horn.
Also, it makes it sound like you don't drive anymore. You're like, that's why it's bugging me about driving. So that's why I stopped.
That's why I never drive anywhere. I just sit in this room and wait for someone to talk to.
And then I come.
Is that you hear the sound of a car horn and all you can do is just be like, something is happening.
Something's happening somewhere.
It's not more specific at all.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Like, it doesn't suggest directionality.
No.
It's nothing. It's just blaring out of a center area.
No.
Like that's what a banshee is then. It's just going like, ah!
Yeah.
And you're like,
well, what? Why? When?
Something.
Who?
Something is going to happen.
I should be careful now or like a little later?
It was so scary.
What should I do?
It was so scary. I don't know what it means.
Sometimes they're scary, William. Sometimes they're not. When it's, okay, so part of another part of the legend of Banshees.
I guarantee you, whatever you say, it's still going to be scary.
It could also be thought that they are part of that family that they're protecting or whatever. Like, it can be like an ancestor or something, possibly. I know it's tore up from the floor up. And so, if it's the family that they love, the Banshee's still going to show up and wail and everything. But it's going to be a little bit more mournful.
Oh, that's great. Those are my options. Is either like a blood-curdling scream, like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Irene.
No, you're not going to be able to communicate. If you try and turn around, there's going to be birds flapping and mist.
Oh, God. We're not going out today.
Yeah. We have to stay in.
We have to stay home.
And then they're scary and angry when they hate their family.
O'Shaughnessy down the street says that a banshee warned him, so he's not going to leave his home. But he says that every Friday night.
Oh, you said excuse all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I can't come out and play. Yeah. Do you have to say that much these days? I can't come out to play.
There was a banshee wailing at my door, so...
My banshee wailed at me and then turned into a stack of birds.
My banshee's acting up. I don't know if I should go out. Just in case. So when they're the scary, angry version of a banshee that you kind of think of, like knee-jerk, that's because they hate their family.
Oh.
And in that case, they're not warning, they're celebrating. Isn't that sweet?
They
just show up and they're like... Woohoo! They have like one of those noisemakers that you turn like there's like a rattle in it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm almost embarrassed to say this. Before you started going like that sent a chill up my spine.
No, it's freaky. It's freaky.
That as you said it, I literally just got a chill of like, oh, that's
when I read that, I was like, whoa. Yeah, no, that's that of all the facts freaked me out the most. That somebody would show up to celebrate.
Because I don't imagine them showing up being like, I imagine still being like, ah! Yeah, but with like triumph in their eyes, like, ah!
That's the way they celebrate, is that screaming and wailing that's terrifying.
Oh, I still don't like it. It still gives me a chill. So do they live in endless torment?
What was fun?
Do I do like your idea? Like you do like... with a noisemaker. Cranking. Like, damn it. Guys, I'm gonna die today.
Someone check Grandpa. I
don't know. Appearing behind you in a mirror. Like,
yeah, but then the birds flap. And you're like, why are you so mean? And it's like birds flying everywhere. You're like, oh, God.
Someone's gonna die. Who'd she hate the most?
Oh, God. Yes, that, honestly, which was great and fun. Reading this scared me a little bit. Reading about the Banshee, I was like, this image is very frightening.
That's pretty scary.
What if I have a nightmare?
I would have told you.
I'm actually now minorly afraid. I'm afraid this show might give me nightmares.
Kristen.
It might.
Kristen.
I have nightmares sometimes.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
I guess. I mean, we are going to be spending a lot of our time reading about very spooky stuff.
I had a nightmare that we were going to meet Annabelle, the doll.
Was it the Raggedy Ann real doll or not a real doll?
Well, no, that's a different kind of scary doll.
Or was it the movie Annabelle?
No, the Raggedy Ann.
You're going to meet her.
Like, we had to, I'm not going to say, but like, we had to for some reason. It was like me and Ryan and I'm not sure who else, like, walking down a street, like in a horror movie. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to see that doll. I'm freaking out.
I would like to do.
I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, Ryan, I said I had a nightmare that we have to go meet Annabelle. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'll explain later.
Who's Annabelle?
Yeah.
We have a really friendly listener named Annabelle.
Oh, I love Annabelle. Yeah.
We should, and this is not something that we can do regularly, but I would like it if we could occasionally do specials where we do go out and perhaps see Annabelle.
Oh, I really want to. My friends Evan and Emily went and saw Annabelle.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they went
I'd love to do that.
Lorraine Warren's museum, which is like the bottom floor of her house of paranormal and haunted artifacts.
Yeah, we should do stuff like that.
I completely want
This is now a new place where those kinds of things can live.
Exactly. That's why it's great.
Yeah, it is great.
So my last Banshee fact before some pop culture references. It's another scary thing. It's that... Oh, okay. So that in general, they're not said, even when they're being scary, even when they're wailing to celebrate your family's demise or whatever, they aren't bringing death themselves, generally, in most legends and lore and talk about them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not causing death themselves. They're just, like, warning of it. But there are some tales scattered here and there about them, and this freaks me out too, about them seeking someone out and just wailing at them and making noise and freaking them out and stuff until they either go insane or kill themselves.
Oh. Well, that's awesome. Certainly more malicious.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Now that just sounds like every horror movie from the last 15 years, where you're like brushing your teeth and then you close the bathroom mirror and there's just, ah!
For some reason, the image of the Banshee freaks me out. I don't know if it has to do with the hair. Maybe some weird... I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Internalized sexism? I don't think so. But, like, it's scary.
Well, usually... the witch figure. It's very startling, right? The witch figure
is a classic scary figure. So it's kind of a witch figure.
Yeah. It's kind of a ghostly witch type of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The crone figure is an archetype that we are taught to fear, even though crones are very knowledgeable and wise.
They don't like being called crones, though, right?
No, for archetypes, like, that's an archetype, and it's kind of getting reclaimed a little bit. Like, people are poo-pooing the crone because, well, not like nobody's identifying as crone.
Wait, the crone?
Can you see this?
Stupid looking crow toy here.
I don't know if this is going to be visible. Oh, I don't know.
Well, whatever.
It's that probably just looks so sad and lame with me being like,
do you want to see my crone toy?
No, so there are kind of, I guess you'd say theories for lack of a better word or whatever, but like ideas about archetypes in women in the stage of life. So there's like, let me mess them up. I don't remember. It's like the maiden, the something, the mother, and the crone. Like the crone is the last stage of your life. And so it's kind of, but like crones are like really wise and like, you know, have seen life and knowledgeable and dispense knowledge.
I agree with you. They just have a marketing problem.
Okay, so that was the last scary thing. And so here are some pop culture references where banshees appear.
Yeah.
And same as you, there are a lot of them. And so I just kind of picked like the most easily recognizable or whatever.
Can I ask you, do you have any video games in there?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Very good.
I only put 2 in. There were a couple more. And why didn't I pick them? Because it seemed like a tenuous string. It'd be like the person's name was Banshee or something. Yeah. But they didn't have Banshee tendencies.
Yeah.
Or there was something where somebody screamed, but they had a different name, so it seemed weird to include.
Sindel?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was Mortal Kombat. That's what I was going to ask you about.
Yes. Yeah. That was in there, but I didn't write that down.
Okay, good. Like, there's a character in Mortal Kombat who can scream and hurt you. But she can also whip her hair around you. She has, like, white hair.
Oh, so it's total Banshee.
She can attack you with her hair.
Yeah. So that was in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Banshee and X-Men.
Yep.
Has sonic abilities. Oh, wait. The first reference to Banshees in pop culture was a little movie I don't know if you've heard of before. I certainly hadn't. It's a Disney movie, apparently. Darby O'Gill and the Little People? Are you aware of that? Because I wasn't. That movie had a character called the Pernicious Banshee.
That makes it sound like there's a string of Darby O'Gill movies, right? Like it's like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
What's Darby O'Gill get himself into this time? And so in that movie, the Banshee was scary. And before that, Banshees in culture were like, you know, like they weren't that prevalent, and when they were, it was kind of that figure where it's like, they wail and they're keening. They were scary here and there, but like this was the first like mainstream thing of a banshee, and since it was set up as being a scary creature, that's kind of what kicked that off, and then everybody interpreted them as scary.
Huh, interesting.
Yep.
How could they not interpret it as scary from the original conception of the Banshee.
I guess it's the first, like, widespread pop culture.
Of it being like a horror, distinct creature. Because I guess you could maybe make the argument.
Yeah, that's if you think of it as being like a wailing person
mourning
and warning their family. That's just sad.
Boy.
I mean, still scary, but like that's more of a tragic.
It's still pretty scary.
100%, but it's still like a tragic figure, not like an evil banshee who's like...
The things that people considered to be, like, not frightening.
Yeah.
Way back when, right? Like, that's pretty petrifying.
Oh, completely.
All right.
Die. Okay, so then, also in the TV shows, and these were fun ones because they were, like, shows that we watched when we were kids. The Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Gargoyles.
Okay.
Scooby-Doo. Teen Wolf. Charmed. And Supernatural.
Wow.
Yep.
Really?
So Banshees are hot.
Yeah, Banshees are all over the place.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would be like from a Banshee's point of view. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they're blinking out of existence, like, it almost makes me think, yeah. And do they live their entire existence being in mourning or screaming and stuff, you know?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I know that multiple can be together at one time because it said that for, like a holy figure or like a great man or whatever, that multiple Banshees are wailing at the same time to signify that somebody great is dying. So that's got to be a nightmare.
That's even worse.
Totally.
I like to imagine them appearing in, like, geometric configurations.
Oh, yeah, like sacred geometry.
Yeah, but, like, blinking into a shape, blinking out of existence. Blinking in, they're in a different shape, blinking out of existence.
Ooh, I like that. Imagine all those birds flapping.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. And then people would have to, like, look at the footage and be like, look at the configuration they're in. Look at the other configuration. When you link those two, it means this. It's the Order of Dupree. And it's, like, some, like, grand cult or something that...
That'd be awesome.
Enslaves Banshees. Enslaves old crones.
Yeah.
Who they target people who they think might turn into Banshees if they die, and they kill them. And then that results in these, like, weird afterlife cults.
Yeah.
Where you weaponize these old people.
Yeah, that's totally sweet. The Order of Dupree.
So it makes them Banshees scary.
Yeah.
But then when you learn more of the story, you realize that they are, like, almost enslaved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's coming out in my new book, Order of Dupree. Ood. O-O-D.
Ood.
Order of Dupree.
Will you have a pen name? What might it be?
Hank Mavens.
Good one. If you haven't joined us before for Book Club, Schmook Club, or anything, William is so good at making up names on the spot. It's like an uncanny talent.
Are you going to call Hank Mavens a good name?
I think that's a funny name. Hank Mavens?
The Order of Dupree by Hank Mavens.
That's a good one.
Look for it in your local B. Dalton.
Or your Walden.
You know what we're talking about. All right, I think that does it for us here.
Yeah, totally.
On the first ever episode of The Guide to the Unknown. I am Will Rogers.
I am Kristen Rogers Anderson.
If you have anything that you would like to say to us about what we discussed on today's show, any monsters you'd like to hear us talk about in the future, please do not hesitate. Run, don't walk to your local smart device where you can get in contact with us on the internet.
Yep, I'm at Shillin' Kristen on Instagram and Twitter.
I'm at Haunted Sponge. We also have accounts for this show at GTTU Pod.
Yep.
Guide to the Unknown Pod. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah.
Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Very importantly, because this is a brand new show, please run to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. Did you enjoy this show? Other people need your help to be able to find it. So leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell people about this show.
Yeah.
We want to keep doing it, but we can't without the support of listeners like you out there.
Yeah, it's so important. I know that every podcast says it, so it becomes kind of like white noise, but please, especially because we're new, it'd be awesome if you could leave a review so that we're not just like at the bottom of the heap where people can't find us in searches for paranormal shows or things like that. So please, please.
Yes. We try to also have all these links and things in the description for each episode. You can also find us on YouTube where you can watch this show. But really what we want to say is we hope you guys had a good time. I know that we did. I think we learned a lot, and I think we had a good spooky time.
Sure did.
So until next time we convene to discuss the dark beasts that lurk in the shadows.
Back to the netherworld. Go we. good.
I'm fine with that.
I am too. I didn't know what I was gonna say. Like, I know I was gonna say something about the netherworld, and then as it came, I'm glad Go Wee came out.
Back to the netherworld. Go Wee.